So if you recall, when I first introduced git commit, I said that you could use this command, git commit, on its own, but I recommended against it for the time being because it will open up the default editor, and that default editor is likely to be Vim, which I'll just demonstrate very quickly so you can see what that experience is like. I'm going to come over to my first novel project and make a very simple change. I don't think I have any changes at this moment, but I see a typo right here in my outline. So I'm just going to fix it. Nick goes home and sees Catsby for the first time. So I'm going to save that, get status. Okay, then I'm going to do a git add outline.txt. Then I'm going to do git commit without the -m. I'm not going to pass in a message or any of that. Now let's see what happens when I hit enter. Let me full screen this so you can get a better picture of what's going on. This is called Vim. It's an editor. It's built into the terminal. It can be very confusing because I can't just start typing. It's asking me to enter a commit message, but if I try typing right now, it's actually not going to type a message. First, I have to enter what's called the insert mode by typing I. So if I just hit the letter I, now at the bottom left, can you see that here? It says insert. By the way, this really is not the time to be teaching you Vim. I'm not expecting you to learn it, but if you end up in this situation, I want you to know how to get out of it. But we're going to change our default editor. So don't worry about the actual commands. So I hit I so that I'm in insert mode, and now I can start typing and leave a commit message. So what did I do? I fixed a typo. So fix typo, just like that. All right. Fix typo in outline maybe. Sure. Now, how do I get out of here? Well, it's also confusing. First, I hit the escape key one time to leave insert mode. Next, I need to leave Vim entirely. And to do that, there's a couple of options, but I'm going to do :W and then Q. Oh, gosh. So W stands for write, Q stands for quit. So this is write, basically save these changes, and quit Vim. It's very confusing. Now I'm going to hit enter. Whew. And we made that commit. And you can see fix typo in outline. If I type git log, fix typo in outline. So it looks exactly the same. It's a commit. Nothing different. It's just the way that we made it and passed in that message was a lot worse. Now, there are times where using this message flag, the -m flag, is not going to cut it. If we need to type a much longer commit message, I mean, you could cram it all into a single line, but on larger projects and large code bases, open source projects, your commit messages might actually look something like this. Multiple lines, maybe paragraphs, bullet points. So that's not going to cut it, just passing it in inside of quotes. You don't want to be typing something like that in your terminal on a single line. So we do want to configure this version, git commit, so that it opens up an editor where we actually feel comfortable typing paragraphs, where we could type something like this. And for the majority of students and the majority of developers out there, Vim is not that editor. So I like to use VS Code as my editor. I've been using it in the course, no surprise there. But you can configure Git to use really any editor. You can use VS Code or Sublime Text or any of the other editors that are out there. I'll show you how to do that right now. So if you go to the Git documentation, there's this page called Git Commands, Setup and Config. It's on the appendix for the book. I'll just include a link to this if you're curious. And just like before, when we configured our username and the email address for our Git configuration, we can do the same thing for the editor. So depending on what editor you're using, there's a table here, and I'm looking for VS Code, which is right here, Visual Studio Code. And this is the command I need to type. So git config, we'll do global so that it applies to every repo, not just the current repo. Core.editor is what we're configuring, and I want it to be code, which is the name of VS Code, Visual Studio Code. And then I'll talk about this -- wait in a moment, but basically we just copy this line. So if you're using Sublime, copy this line. On a Mac, or if you're on a PC, copy this line. If you're using something else, text edit on a Mac, this is the line. But I'm going to use VS Code. So now I'll head over to my terminal. I'll paste this in here. Okay, we don't see anything change, But now let's make another commit. What could we do that won't take too much time? Okay, here's a simple one. I have some extra white space in chapter 2, just at the top. So I'm just going to get rid of that and save. And now I'll type git status. All right, it says I modified that file. All I did was delete some empty lines, but that's still a modification. So I'm going to add that. Git add chapter2.txt. Now, I would usually just use git commit -m because it's really just a simple message. We did something so simple, there's no point in typing a paragraph, right? You want to keep your commit messages as short as possible, but there are times where you need more information. This is not really one, but I'm going to do just git commit without the -m flag just to demonstrate that hopefully our editor is configured to be VS Code. Let's see. There's a problem with the editor code -- wait. So this is a problem stemming from the fact that my terminal does not know what code the command code is referring to. So it's telling me here, command not found. Basically, if I go into VS Code, I can fix that. I'm going to open the command palette, which is Command-Shift-P. And then I'm going to type code. And I want this, install code command in path. Okay, so it says shell command code successfully installed in path. So now, hopefully this works. It knows what the command code is referring to. So let's try committing again. Aha! Now it's opened up in VS Code. And you can see over here, it's waiting for me to close this file. So that's why we had to add that -- wait right here. We want it to wait until we finish editing and save our commit message. So I can type my commit in here. Also, I didn't mention this earlier, everything that starts with a hash or the octothorpe character will be ignored. It's a comment, it's not included in the commit. So in here, what did we just do? I've already forgotten. Oh, we removed white space from chapter 2. So, remove extra white space or extra lines in chapter 2 or something. Well, that kind of sounds like we actually deleted lines of chapter 2. How about extra blank lines? Sure. Okay, so now I'm going to save this file if that's the commit message I want, but I could put a lot more in here, and maybe just to demonstrate that I will, why don't I just copy one of these example commit messages that I was talking about. I'm just going to copy this entire thing over, and this is just to show you that we can do this. All right, so here's my much longer commit message. All these lines, paragraphs of text, some bullet points, they won't be formatted in any particular way. I have to do this manually, right? If I want that bullet point, it's just a dash. But anyway, this is my commit message here. Really just the first line that matters. I'm going to save. I'm going to close the file. And then over here, it now made the commit. It was waiting, and now it's not. It finished. So if I type git log, what do we see? Oh, well, we made that commit. It is here, but it's taking up so much space. That's really, really annoying. So in the next video, I'll show you how we can use git log with a small tweak so that we don't have to see the entire commit message in the case of a very long commit message. Anyway, we set up the editor. We configured it to use VS Code in this video. If you're doing something else like Sublime Text, follow the instructions here. I'll include this link in the description if you want to check it out. But you can avoid this for the most part by just using -m until you really need to type a longer commit message, which is not all that common when you're starting out. Once you start working on larger projects, though, it's definitely important to be able to open up and write messages in an editor. Okay,